Spin. Me. How you doing? This is my daily vlog. I do it every day, and I just talk about random stuff that's usually on my mind. I have a beard, and if you'd like, I am growing this because of the Christchurch earthquake, and I am having it for every day that someone died. I grew it on the day that the earthquake hit, or I shaved on the day that the earthquake hit, and I'm going to have it for about 181 days, because that's about how many people died here. So, yeah, links down below if you'd like to donate. Now, I did yesterday I did a video on the burning of the Quran and the deaths that happened in Afghanistan because of that such burning issued by Terry Jones, a US pastor. And one of the people that I subscribe to is a guy called Relax Godfolk. He's an American atheist and very interesting guy, so I'll put a link down below so you can have a look. I've been watching his stuff for the last a couple of months now, and yeah, I did a video, but I watched on the Quran burning, but he also did one too, and I just video response his, so we kind of had the same views, so that's why I just kind of added in. So, but then today he did a response to my video, and thank you very much for that. So I'm going to respond back in that sense. Now your topic was religious nutters, and you are going based on the fact that I mentioned religious nutters in my video. Now I went over my video again, and I noticed that I only mentioned that at the very end, and that's what you talked about. Now it must be something, I'm presuming it's something that has been on your mind before, because it is something that's out there, and people call them religious nutters because they have gone to the extremes. And you did mention this, you know, there are nutters in all aspects. Now, people would call me a nutter, and there have been people that do that with regards to, one, being an atheist, and, you know, they do call you that, and I'm pretty staunch atheist when it comes down to it. Also, I'm now an avid follower. I'm learning more about it, and, you know, some people call it a cult, and that's the Zeitgeist movement, and also the Venus Project. I'm not to the point where, it's not how it is meant to be portrayed, but, you know, down there worshipping kind of thing. But it's all based on scientific values and principles, and that's the way the Zeitgeist and the Venus Project is being endorsed. So in essence, I'm not for those movements as such. I'm just for the betterment of humankind based on scientific principles, and that's where that there just seems to flow in well with what I believe in. So I have those beliefs there that humankind can get better because of science. So I've actually got a list of things here, just because I didn't want to kind of ramble on completely, which I always seem to do, because that's what I do in these videos. I think I used the word nuts, and you said, you know, that, hey, it's not the best idea to do that, and you know, irrational is a better word. I'll go with that, and that's I just didn't use it at the time. But, you know, what is being irrational? Irrational is usually what we don't think is rational. So, and from an atheist point of view, and that's what people will be watching this, if you and I are having a discussion, the people will be watching this will be atheist based mainly. So, you know, they will agree with our opinions. So, you know, we're not going to try to convert anyone by saying this, or, you know, I don't think we always try to. But what I think is rational is the basis of scientific proof and so forth. And that's the reason why I called them a nutters, because, you know, actually, I was one of the, I can't remember, I'll see if I can put a link down below, but it was either on Al Jazeera or Russia Today. They interviewed one of the Afghanistanis who was part of the violence protest over there, and he was a teacher. And you mentioned, you know, it is all about education, and I understand that because I'm a teacher myself, and education is the key point, and the thing is, and it's culture, and just like you mentioned, we are only based on what we're around, and what we are around is the culture that we are in. So, for instance, I think I am more of an atheist based, or was able to get into that factor because of New Zealand being a very secular society. And, you know, we're one of the 9 countries in the world that, from a recent study, that religion might become extinct in the next, you know, 50 odd years. That would be brilliant. I'd love that. But what the culture, and this is something that the Venus Project advocates, and this is something that I'd thought about it, but once I listened to more of Jacques Fresco's talks, so forth. It's like, oh yeah, it is correct. So if I was in an Arab nation, I most likely would be a Muslim, and I would be growing up, and I would be just like what you said. I would be believing in that fact. I take for granted that I do live in a place like this, that I was able to look at the world in a different viewpoint. But I also am someone that's naturally, and I think that's the case, is trying to find that area, which I think you'd understand this. And I have seen some of the other videos saying that, hey, being able to step back, look at what is true and fact, and what is myth and legend, and question. So, yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from when it comes to nut. I use the wrong terminology, but also I'm not going to apologise for it, because in essence they are the extremes. Like I said, some people will see me as being a nutter because of what I follow. I see them for being a nutter because they chopped someone's head off because of a book that got burnt. So that's where I'm coming from there, but irrational is a much better word. So hopefully that explains my thinking there. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I had. But yeah, thanks for the video response. I think the main aspect for me, though, is the fact that freedom of speech is gone because of it. And you see a lot of the stuff with regards in the UK, where they're slowly coming down on, or they're letting Sharia law into, or not letting, that the possibility of Sharia law becoming more of a factor in the European stance. And so, I don't know, it's not a good thing. So freedom of speech goes out the door. So blasphemy becomes an actual legit defence. And it's like, well, if you go chop their head off because you were blasphemous towards someone, it's disgusting. We actually do. I believe in New Zealand we actually do have a blasphemous law here. It's just not used anymore. So I might be wrong about that. I just remember some time ago that was the case, because it's not a legit. In a secular society that the whole world is slowly going towards, we realise that we're not that type of person anymore, or people. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and yeah, peace. Remember Building 7, building what you asked. Yes, exactly, buildingwhat.org, and I'll catch you later. See ya. Spin, 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 spin.